Welcome to the third session of Daily Dose Physics. Today we'll be discussing the first and second question of the 2018 paper. So the first question is unit of pressure. So we have to find the unit of pressure. For that, the relationship to find the pressure is force divided by area. So force acting per unit area is pressure. So force over area gives pressure. And force can be found using the formula mass into acceleration. So mass multiplied by acceleration gives you the force. So mass into acceleration divided by area gives us pressure. So the unit of mass is kilograms and the unit of acceleration is meters per second squared and the unit of area is meter squared. So you can see we have kilogram meter to the power 1 second to the power minus 2 divided by meter squared. So when you have something like this, you can simplify it by subtracting the powers. So the meter has power 1 and here in the denominator it has power 2. So we have to subtract 2 from 1. So you'll be getting kilogram meter to the power 1 minus 2 to the power into s to the power minus 2. So we have kilogram meter to the power minus 1 per second squared. So this is a unit. So the answer is number 3, kilogram per meter per second squared. Next, the second question. So in this you can see this is a question regarding dimensions. So they've said that x, y and z represent 3 physical quantities with different dimensions. Okay, so x, y and z have different dimensions. They have highlighted that also. So there is something important there. And they've said they can be combined to form another physical quantity P of the form P equals ax plus by plus cz. All right. So one thing that you should understand is, let's say you add two physical quantities. Let's say you add two physical quantities. For example, I have a physical quantity called, let's say S, and I have another physical quantity called T. Now, if I add these two, what it means is that these two are of the same dimensions. These two physical quantities have the same dimensions, right? That's what it means. If you can add two quantities, it means they have the same dimension. And the same goes with subtraction also. If you can subtract these two quantities, it means that they have the same dimensions, right? If they don't have the same dimensions, you won't be able to add or subtract. For example, if a certain physical quantity is, let's say, a velocity and the other physical quantity is an acceleration, they'll have two different dimensions, and if that is the case, you won't be able to add them. You can't add a velocity and an acceleration, right? You can only add a velocity with another velocity. That's the only thing that's possible, right? So you should understand, if you add two physical quantities, it means they have the same dimensions. So you can see here they have added ax, they have added ax, by and cz. They have added these quantities, which means ax, by, cz, these three have the same dimension. Okay, ax, by and cz, all these three have the same dimension, and the answer also will have the same dimension. Therefore P also has the same dimension as ax, by and cz. All right, so the question is, which of the following expressions has different dimensions from the rest? All right, so let's take, now we said that these four quantities have the same dimensions. Let's say the dimension is, okay, let's say the dimension is, just we'll put a random value, like let's say it is something like alpha. Okay, I'll just take it as alpha. Okay, so the dimension is alpha. It can be anything. I'm just taking it as alpha just for reference. Okay, So you can see the first one. The first one is AX, right? The first one is AX, and you can see uh, AX has a dimension of alpha. Okay, the dimension of AX is alpha. And then AX minus CZ. I told you we can only add or subtract physical quantities with the same dimensions. And you can see AX and CZ have the same dimension, which is alpha, and the answer also will be alpha. So AX minus CZ has a dimension of alpha. Also, if you consider the third answer, it's AX CZ divided by BY. So AX has a dimension of alpha, CZ has a dimension of alpha divided by BY. BY has a dimension of alpha. So it is alpha squared over alpha, which is alpha. So the third answer, the expression we have in the third answer also has a dimension of alpha. And then by squared. So by whole thing squared. So by has a dimension of alpha, which is alpha, and then we have to square it. So alpha squared. And we know p also has a dimension of alpha. So alpha squared over alpha is again alpha. So the first answer, second answer, third answer, fourth answer, all these expressions in these answers have dimension alpha. So the last answer is by into cz. So by has a dimension of alpha, cz has a dimension of alpha. So the expression here has a dimension of alpha squared, which is actually different from the other four. So the answer has to be the fifth one. So I hope you understood this, and we'll meet with the next session. Thank you very much.